Hello and welcome to another episode of Frog Solo TV. My name's Toby Cooper, and joining me tonight from the West, in the absence of Geordie Batchelor due to work commitments, is Russ Cullen. How are you, mate?
I'm really good. What an honour it is to be on the show again. Thanks, Geordie, for giving me a time slot. Big ups to Geordie.
Anyway, mate, how's things going over there before we get into tonight's show? It's not long now and you'll be competing in the 50th edition of the Finke Desert Race in Alice Springs. Been following you closely. How are preparations coming along?
Yeah, look, the prep on the car's going pretty good. The car is extremely well-rounded and solid. It's got a pretty good pedigree for finishing races, but as everybody watching on would know, the Finke Desert Race is a different cup of tea. And look, we'll be rolling along quite nicely. We won't be trying to do anything too special in those whoops. We'll just try and get the job done. You know, the car prep's really good, really just going over every last detail now, trying to give us every chance of making it down there and back. You know, we're sort of doing this in honour of Tanya, who's since passed on. She was planning to do it with us, but we've decided to run the program at Finke and see if we can do it in her honour and get down there and back, because I think it'll be a really great achievement.
Yeah, mate, it's going to be a very special weekend for you, your mates and the team. You're taking Jeremy and Sean along for the ride as navigators.
Yes, sorry to cut you off there, Toby. Jeremy will obviously be the co-dog, as it would be in American sort of terminology. Sean sort of stepped into a role of a bit of a team manager, I suppose. He's going to manage everything behind the scene. He's doing a fantastic job at the moment, you know, trying to get trucks organised. You know, we've got multiple transport combinations, but I think we've finally settled on how we're going to get the car over there now that, you know, we're getting, it's almost the 11th hour. It's not long now, and we've got that big 3,000 odd kilometre journey out of Perth to Alice Springs, and we're looking forward to it. As I said, the car's looking good, the program's looking good. Jez is fired up, you know, the rest of the crew are fired up. So, yeah, it's the old farts taking over from the young guns in the junior team at the moment. So we might try to show them how it's done, I suppose.
Look out for Russ and Jez as they head to Finke in a few weeks. Tonight is another stack show, Russ, with reviews of the Parilla Enduro, the Burdekin Enduro and the Moyston Short Course. We also chat with Richard Bennett Memorial champion Nick Hicks and look ahead to this weekend's Mumbannar 160 in South Australia, all made possible by our amazing partners and contributors here on Frog Solo TV. So straight into our first event review. Last weekend saw the running of the 2026 Richard Bennett Memorial Parilla Enduro, round one of the Mount Moriac Hotel South Australian Championship and round one of the Sayora Series. And it was great to see Nick Hicks return to the winner's circle in his element. Now a two-time Richard Bennett Memorial champion. He finished the traditional Parilla event 1 minute ahead of Wes Cowie and David Hall in second and third. And I know you're a big fan of Nick Hicks, Russ, from the years watching him over at Cal. It was good to see him get another win.
Yeah, well, he shared the podium over here in Cal. 2021, he got the chocolates. Fantastic drive from him. Mm-hmm. You know, took over the show almost in a side-by-side, which is pretty cool. But yeah, look, Nick Hicks showed some really good promise stepping into a pro buggy. Maybe I think he would forgive me for saying he's fallen by the wayside a little bit recently. Had a bit of a issue with luck more so than anything. But he's getting on top of it again down. Obviously, Parilla, you know, is a testimony to that.
Yeah, he started off slow down at Parilla. I think he was 12th after heat one of the short course. Worked his way up into third at the end of the day, and then just went strength to strength on day two. It was run a bit of a traditional format for the Richard Bennett Memorial Enduro, which is one of the most prestigious trophies in Australian off-road racing. They had a South Australian component as well, which Wes Cowie took out. Always looks like a great weekend down there. The conditions got a bit damp Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. But, it all adds to the excitement of a great weekend.
Yeah, look, it looked like the videos I saw looked fantastic. And the fact that they run, multiple, championships within the championship race that is Parilla, that was pretty cool. It looked like it was well patronised on all levels. So, that was, looked good. I mean, obviously I've talked about basing a car over in the east, and that little track looked like it could be on the bucket list, Parilla. Along with Warriolda, of course.
It was fantastic to see Hicks take the win at Parilla after his disappointing 2025 season. And earlier in the week, I caught up with the champion himself. Check it out. It's an honour to be joined on Frogs Hollow TV for the first time last weekend's Richard Bennett Memorial Enduro champion Nick Hicks. How are you, mate?
Oh, well, Tobe, yeah. How you getting on?
Going all right. Firstly, congratulations on your big victory at Parilla, mate. That's now your second Richard Bennett Memorial win. Tell us a bit about your run.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, it was nice to get a race under the belt that we sort of finished. It was a bit of a tough season last year. We had just a series of little things that sort of caught us out, but Parilla sort of started out pretty steady, and then it was sort of mixed weather up there, and it was sort of dusty, and then it was really windy, and then a bit of rain came through, so vision was a bit of an issue. And you sort of, the way they run it with you're sort of two abreast when you kick it off, you never quite know where you're going to come up on sort of slower traffic either in the long laps, and didn't have the best run on the first section, and then sort of came good, and then had a bit of a shitty run at the last long section on the first day, and then sort of the long course on Sunday, we had a great run. Yeah, just a beautiful day of racing, really well organised event. Good track up there. It's nice and busy, and you're sort of coming up on cars, and it's a reverse format grid. So no, we were stoked, mate. Yeah, good to get back on top.
Yeah, it's great to see you back where you belong, mate, top of podiums. But you said before it rained a bit on Saturday afternoon as well, which made things tricky for Sunday morning. And I believe from sort of lap 2 on, it was perfect conditions on Sunday.
Yeah, ideal. Yeah, that sort of blew through. Sort of just a few showers around on the Saturday, and it was just dusty as shit. And by the time Sunday came around, there it was just ideal day of racing. Very little dust, so when you're coming up on the slower cars in that reverse format, it was just unreal. We had a ball, mate. It was I got a new brake outfit that the SBH boys have fitted up on the car. It was the first time out on that. I hadn't driven since Cow, and absolutely just having a ball out there, mate. The element, just loved it. The rougher it got. Yeah,
great to get off to a nice start. And what's the sort of plans for moving on to the next bit of time? I know you're going to head up to Loveday, and I'm sure you'll be going back to Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, we generally will always do the Cow, just because that's where the work is over in the west, so we get a few of the crew around it. We'll do Loveday. I travel a bit with work, so I don't, sort of chewing up all the credits at home a little bit. The Nationals, you obviously away a little bit longer, so I might do a few more of these sort of state rounds. Tony there at Loveday's done a great job of, getting that all promoted, and they're always just really well run events, and so I'll probably dip my toe in the water on a couple more of those as well. I just have to play it by ear. I've got to sort of test the waters at home, mate, before I commit to the weekends away. You'll learn about that with the new bubs on the way, mate.
Yes, mate. Very excited. Things are going to change up down here for me, for sure. You just mentioned the Mount Moriark Hotel South Australian Championship. You actually finished behind Wes Cow in second in those standings. It was a little bit confusing even from my end watching on from home, mate. But I'm sure you're happy just to get that couple of good results. And it just seemed to be that lap on Saturday afternoon that was the difference between you and Wes.
Yeah, I just had an absolute stinker in the format of the race. The first heat, I got caught up behind a slower car, and I probably should have pushed and got through, and lost a minute or so, probably more. And then the next heat around the short course, we had a good run, and then a different format to when I raced it last. They chucked one of the long laps late in the day, and it was just track was wet. There was really low light, and it's got me buggered how he just sent it, Like, I got back into the pits, and the boys I was with were just like, mate, you were miles behind. I think I lost like maybe a minute 30 or something, like quite a bit. I don't know. He must have 20/20 vision or something. I just was nowhere, and then was really unexpected on the Sunday. I just thought, we'd tick along, but we managed to be the quickest car out there on Sunday, and got in a really good groove, and picked up enough time to to win the Richard Bennett part of it, just because they excluded that last lap on Saturday of the long track. So, yeah, I was as baffled as everyone else. I sort of didn't realise we'd done it, but we were stoked, mate. So we get our name on that trophy again. It's always one of the better trophies in the circuit that I've seen. Nice bit of Mallee route. We're stoked, mate.
Very prestigious. Mate, I know you're not heading up to Alice next month for the big one, the 50th edition of the Tatsfink Desert Race, but you got any early tips? Who do you think will be the hardest to beat? Obviously the OBR boys and Boston be right up there, but any of your buggy friends? I know a good friend of yours too, Tobe Waitley, he's going to be thereabouts. He was off to a fantastic start, the ORC.
Yeah, Tobe's obviously new navvy, and he's just put a heap of work into that car from what I hear, and obviously it's paying divvies now. Whether he's got the horsepower to win Fink, I'm not sure, but yeah, he'll no doubt always one of the better drivers on track. I actually haven't. I might even sneak up there for a bit of a look, but I don't know. Everyone sort of says now it's a truck track. I don't know, it was that year AJ did really well in the buggy, but I don't know. I think if any buggy was going to win it, if you put, someone like a Tobe Waitley in an element set up like mine, I reckon he'd have a fair crack at winning it. But I don't know, those truck boys are pretty hard to beat, I would have thought, as it breaks down. I haven't heard what it's like, but I assume, Fink's always rough.
Will we ever see Nick Hicks in an all-wheel drive one day, a trophy truck?
There's been talk of it, mate. Yeah, I think she's a 2-year wait. I think I've got a mate that I'm getting into the sport in the West with me, and we're sort of talking about dipping our toe in the water with an all-wheel drive truck. It's sort of those boys are taking it to another level. Stranger things have happened, mate. We'll see what happens in the future.
Very good. Anyways, mate, thanks for joining me on Frog Solo TV. Congratulations on your win down there at Parilla, Richard Bennett Memorial Enduro, and good luck to you and the team and everyone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, beauty, Tobes. Appreciate it. And big shout out to the SBH boys, Symon and Shippo. They're always tirelessly working on my car, and Carl Havey as well. It's just been a massive support with getting things tuned in. And good luck with the new bubs, mate. Enjoy.
Cheers, mate. Other notable performers from Parilla included Jay Mitchell and Brett Gallash, crossing in 4th and 5th respectively. Jay Mitchell's having a nice start to his season, with Patrick Byrne, Ashley Foote, Graham Tickner, Mark Taylor, Richard Cullen and Clinton Ola all bagging class wins. We alluded to it a bit before, Russ, but in the state component of the event, which was the extra 130-kilometre long course lap on Saturday afternoon, the place is reversed, with Wes Carey taking a 38-second victory over Nick Hicks, while Hilston's Jay Mitchell held off David Hoare, who finished with a flat tyre by just 2 seconds for third. Fascinating weekend, and there were some big-name casualties down there, though. One of your good mates, Aaron James, had another early exit, and hopefully he can turn around his unfortunate run of form at Fink. I think him and Tanner, I believe, could be sharing the duties up there.
Yeah, I noticed they're still on the entry list, which augurs as well. So hopefully Aaron can prepare the car and turn that around after Parilla, the disappointment there, and get back on track at Fink. I'm sure they'll do very well. Seasoned campaigner. And got Tanner alongside him, pretty sort of rapid young fella. So they should do pretty good at Fink, and be nice to catch up with them as well.
Now on to round 3, the Queensland ARB Mickey Thompson Championship, Russ. The 2026 Burdekin Enduro held up in North Queensland last weekend. It was a small but high quality field that took to the air rifle range. And it was Black Betty, Offroad Racing's Craig Krog and Steve Orr who claimed a breakthrough 4-minute victory. Krog is one of the nicest blokes in our sport, and it was great to see him burst onto the scene for his first win in Queensland. Yeah,
great interview by your good self there on a previous show, Toby. Really enjoyed that. Burdekin looks like a nice track too. While we're on about terrain, pretty hilly, few drop-offs towards the edge of the track there, so you've got to keep pretty tidy by the looks at Burdekin. I didn't see a lot of footage, but the bit I watched looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, good to see Craig Krog on top of the pole, and he's been knocking on the door for a while now. I think it's his debut season. He finished third outright up at the Don River Dash in 21. So go through the field that was up there. It was a quality and deep, only 26 cars, but it was all quality. And I mean, hats off to him. And I think he could definitely go on with things and win out at Moles next weekend. You know Michael Marson and Talbot Cox well at the Burdekin Club, Russ. You've experienced firsthand their big event, the Don River Dash. They're always seamless and fantastic weekends up in North Queensland.
Yeah, what a fantastic event, the Don River Dash is. Always enjoy my time up there. And yeah, Michael and Talbot very hospitable, as is all the gang up there in Bowen at the Don River Dash. So yeah, really, really enjoyable times up there.
You have to feel for Tony Falava though, Russ. 2 years in a row he's led the Burdekin event overnight before mechanical heartbreak. Last weekend he was just 15 kilometres from the finish before a broken CV ended his charge. The racing gods can be very cruel at times, mate.
Yeah, well, it would have been nice to see Tony get up with a win, but obviously Croggy's working on his rite of passage with a good result at the Don River a few events ago. And yeah, unfortunately for Falava, CV. But how many times has that happened?
No,
it's not so much a $2 part nowadays, it's a couple of $100 worth of part, because I don't know of many $2 parts left on these machines. So
yeah,
unfortunately for Tony.
It was fantastic to see Class 1 store David Luffman cross for arguably his finest result in the Queensland Championship behind the wheel of his Honey Badger, holding off North Queensland a Seaton battle by 34 seconds. He finished third in his Vowed Element Prodigy. And again, consistency rules, and Dave Luffman is a fine example of that. And young Seaton battle, I think he had a few engine dramas on Saturday, but yeah, he's finding his groove nicely. And I think they're eyeing off the Gundy 500 in August, and I think him and his brother Kent could be big candidates down there.
Yeah, unfortunately for the battles, it sounds like they've had to withdraw from the Fink field, which is a little bit disappointing. We don't get to see them in action in those in the Nortrans cars. But anyway, they're onward and upward, and they'll move on to Gundy and prepare well, hopefully. Mate, what are some of the names you've mentioned there at Burdekin? Talbot Cox, Michael Marson. I think Kai Camilleri was there as well. Pretty slick field. Well done to Craig Krog getting the chocolates there. That wouldn't have been handed to him.
No, for sure. And always also had defending champion James Sant was in the field. Brad Belcher, who's a quick North Queenslander. Chris Land. There was plenty of talent. And Michael Marson, though, talking about him, crossed in his little Class 10, fourth outright, and he just continues punching above his weight. But I know how much he's looking forward to getting out there in his trophy truck very soon, mate.
Yeah, look, the Racer Engineering car, when that comes out from America, that's going to be a nice bit of gear by the sounds of things. Maybe a little bit down on technology being a two-wheel drive, but still I reckon Michael will get the best out of that car. From all reports, from talking to Dale Dundell and Michael Marson, it looks killer. The bodywork looks A1 on it. So, yeah, looking forward to that debut, and that'll be great.
And completing the 250 kilometres of harsh Burdekin terrain, 9 seconds behind Michael Marson was Class 6 champion Aaron Nicol, and he continues. I think that's 3 top 5 results in a row for him up at Burdekin, so congratulations to him in his little Can MX3. Other class winners from a chaotic weekend up north included Davey Muir, Justin Renew, Hanky Parker and his trusty old Land Cruiser. Incredible journeyman, Hank Parker. Unfortunately, I say he's also withdrawn from the Fink Desert Race. He won down at Pooncarie, Russ. He's taken it up the Burdekin, and he couldn't get too far away races than those two from St George, or pretty central in St George. But hats off to him, mate.
Yeah, look, I was looking forward to Hank Parker taking it up to Craig Lowndes, to be quite honest, at Fink. Unfortunately, sounds like Hank's done himself a bit of mischief with the car perhaps, and he's had to pull out. But yeah, that would have been a pretty interesting battle between Lowndes and Parker, two of the big guns in motorsport. And unfortunately, we're not going to see that rivalry be challenged now, because unfortunately Hank's not going.
It'll have to be up to Jeff Pickering. I say he's still on the list, so it's going to be a fascinating little battle there.
Yeah, well, maybe Jeff could fly the Class 7 flag up against Lounsey, so let's see how he goes.
So the Queensland Championship now turns its attention to round 4, which is next weekend out at Moles for the inaugural Tyres and Battery Moles 150, hosted by the Brisbane Car Sporting Club. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and we'll bring you more next week. The 2026 Moyston Short Course, hosted by the Geelong Off-Road Buggy Association, was also held last Saturday Darren Franklin and Rob Hackney survived the 21 laps of the 5K Moyston track, 10.5 seconds faster than Glenn and Blake Pike. I actually selected Glenn Pike and Geordie went for Darren Franklin, so there was a little bit of banter on social media last Saturday evening, Russ, but yeah, good to see Darren Franklin in his new Maverick R take a win. And look, those little events down there just out of Melbourne, I think it's a couple of hours north of Melbourne, just out at Ararat. Looks like a lot of fun, and Kevin and Caleb Marsden enjoyed their weekend. They came third, but yeah, conditions deteriorated during the day. It looked pretty miserable, cold, and I think pretty wet on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, these sort of little events, Russ, I know you're a massive fan of state racing and club racing. They are sort of the heartbeat of our sport, and it's great to see them continue on.
Yeah, well, great little event down there. I mean, we call it little, didn't have 100 entries or whatever. It doesn't have the glamour of Fink, but they are the volunteers and clubs that put those events on are instrumental in the future of our sport. So big ups to the club and all the races that patronise that event. Fantastic.
Jake Williamson, Ryan Oldfield, Vaughan Johnston, Brett Salu, Foster and Steve Crow were other class winners from the first event of the year at Moyston. So Russ, the 2026 Fink Enduro, formerly known as the Breckie Bash, was held in Alice Springs just on the weekend past. Bo Robinson and Hayden Bentley had their first hitouts in their new all-wheel drive Masons made. Have you heard any reports from up in Alice from the weekend?
Oh, look, it sounds like Bo didn't do a lot of, didn't run up a lot of hours or minutes on the truck. Obviously, he pretty seasoned competitor, so he probably just did what he had to do. Got a feel for the truck, so when he jumps in at prologue, it's just going to feel like a glove, well-fitting glove, and he'll just get on with his job. Sounds like Hayden did a lot more, put a lot more miles on the car, as it would be, or put a lot more minutes in the seat, which is fantastic. Because look, Hayden, I saw him in Las Vegas at the Mint 400, and he was licking his chops to get that all-wheel drive Mason out to Australia and give some of the guys that have been giving him a run for his money a bit of a run for their money. Yeah. See if he can put one over some of those guys in the all-wheel drive trucks.
Travis had a few laps over the prologue track on Saturday, Russ, which was, I'm sure, like Bo, just found a little groove, and it'll be his first outing of the year, and expect a big showing for both him and Bo. But yeah, who are you leaning towards out of those two heading into Fink? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Mate, look, no offence, Bo. You know what I'm going to say next, don't you? Look, Trav, I sometimes when I've watched Trav drive, like watching him at KDR last year, I must say I've got to sit back and go, is he really actually going as hard as he can? Because, as much as, Travis has a very cavalier image in off-road racing and almost like a bit of a bandit, as it would be in the trophy truck, the all-wheel drive trophy truck, he's pretty calculated and he's got a ton of skill. And I just wonder if he was sort of not going 10/10ths at Cal, and I reckon he's got a lot up his sleeve. And, mate, from what I'm hearing, he's looking forward to Fink. He's prepared well, and he's, prepared to make the field chase him. So I think Trav is, no one's unbeatable at Fink, but geez, I tell you what, if you could finish within, spinning distance of Trav, you're going to run yourself a good time down to Fink. So yeah, Trav's probably the favourite for me.
I think young Boston Morgan Horan is going to be the real challenger in the field, along with like Martin and even Toddy Lehman, Brent Smooth will be there, Toby Waitley. There's a lot in contention, mate.
Oh yeah, look, mate, you couldn't be very difficult to pick a top 20 and not offend someone. There's so many guys that could slot themselves into the top 5 very easily. And of those guys, there's probably 40 to 50 really slick contenders at Fink. The Commons boys. Aaron James, if they have a good run, Aaron and Tanner will do all right if they have a good run. Toddy Lehman, as you said, Turbo Buggy. Yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be interesting, and I look forward to being on the ground floor there. I'll mop up the rear in the Kingswood, I suppose, like almost a sweep as it would be. But
you'll be flying.
We don't expect to be fast, but we expect to have a good time, and we expect to be part of the festivities, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see who really has a red hot crack in both prologue and day one.
So now on to our only event preview for tonight. This weekend's GT Civil Mumbannar 160, hosted by the Millicent Sand Buggy Club, round 3 of the 2026 Southern States Off-Road Club Challenge. Current series leader Daryl Nissen headlines the field, which includes two-time defending Mumbannar runner-up Dean Carter, 2024 champion Glenn Pike, Dave Hall, Darren Oliver, Jason Marks, Darren Mott, Darren Franklin, Tim Wilkinson, Cameron Grayson. Sandy Bowman's back in the field this weekend. Good to see Sandy back on track. Heath Whedon and Jake England. Competitors will complete 2 heats of 8 10k laps for us, 2 at a time starts. It's one of the coolest little tracks in the country. Who do you think will win the Mumbannar 160, mate? Have a bit of a crack.
Oh, I don't know about who I think will win, but I'd certainly like to see Darren Mott do well. Spent a bit of time with him in Bowen, as did your good self.
Yep.
That was pretty cool to meet him. Always nice to meet a good personality in off-road racing that you've heard about and never met before. I'd like to see Sandy do well. You know, Sandy Bowman, the showman, Sandy Bowman.
Yeah.
The journey's only 160 k's long, is it not?
That's right. Yeah, it's only one day. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Sandy sometimes has the concentration of a blowfly, so I reckon he can get, knuckle down and get 160 rapid k's out of the way. So I really hope he does well. Really looking forward to seeing how he goes over the weekend. I think it was Dean Carter that's won it before.
Yeah, he's a couple times runners up, Dean Carter.
Oh yeah, been on the podium. Dean Carter's been on the podium before. So look, it's hard to go past guys like that obviously know the track intimately and have proven their pace there before. So yeah, probably Dean Carter, but sentimentally Darren Mott and Sandy Bowman.
Very nice. I like your touch there. Yeah, first time Sandy's been on the track for a few years now, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he stands up against Heath Whedon as well, because he's definitely one of the quickest Class 7 competitors in the country. I want to go with Glenn Pike. He won the event in 2024. He was right up in the top 3 last year before exiting on the final lap. He's the clear favourite for me. I think Carter and Dave Hall will be thereabouts as well. Also, a shout out to everyone competing at the Love Day 4x4 Adventure Park this weekend in South Australia for round 1 of the Love Day series, and we'll bring you more on that on our next show. May is a busy month in the off-road world, Russ. Next weekend we also see the Colo Park Challenge running the New South Wales Championship. The Queensland fraternity head to Moles for the inaugural Moles Tyres and Battery 150, while the first ever Parilla Dash will take place in Tasmania before Ben Cubban in the West, which closes out a huge month of racing. And then we go into Fink. But anything else you want to add, mate? It's been a pleasure tonight, you joining me on the show. Always great to have the big Russ Cullen from the West join Frogs Hollow TV.
What an awesome round up there from your good self, Toby. And May, the end of May or the back end of May is looking great for off-road racing across the nation. Of course, Fink coming up early in June at Alice Springs. We're so looking forward to that. We've got some personal goals that we've set ourselves, and we just can't wait to get over there, sink our teeth into what is the Fink Desert Race. Obviously, it's going to be hard yakka in the old Kingswood, but we feel as though we've prepared well, and we should be able to make the journey, albeit very, very slow. But we're doing it in honour of someone special, and it's going to be a great milestone if we can achieve that. And we're so looking forward to that as a group of individuals and a team coming over from the West. Jeremy, Sean, Lyndon, John. There's a whole stack of people. Derek's helping us out with the truck. It's going to be really cool, real team effort, and the support is amazing. Can't wait.
You'll get there, mate, and I'm sure there'll be more than just who's there on site. There'll be thousands of people willing the King of Home come Fink weekend. And again, thanks for joining me, Russ. That's a wrap on tonight's show. All the best in your final preparations before the big Fink Desert Race. Good luck and safe racing to those competing at Mumbannar and Love Day this weekend. But more importantly, stay tuned for the next episode of Frogs Hollow TV. Cheerio.